fame and fortune. For many, these are the ultimate goals. But for some celebrities, reaching the top was only the beginning of a dramatic fall. Number 18. MC Hammer. In the early 1990s, MC Hammer was more than a musician. He was a cultural phenomenon. With his breakout hit, You Can't Touch This, and a string of chart-topping albums, he became one of the most recognizable figures in music. His net worth soared to around $70 million. But Hammer's success came with a lifestyle that few could sustain. He bought a massive mansion in Fremont, California, hired over 200 staff members, and spent millions on luxury cars and extravagant gifts. He even owned exotic animals. The spending was relentless, and when music sales began to slow, his fortune began to vanish. By 1996, Hammer was forced to file for bankruptcy. The man who once danced in gold pants on stage was now a cautionary tale of how fast fortunes can disappear. Number 17. Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage is known for his intense acting style and a career that has spanned decades. He has starred in blockbusters like National Treasure and Leaving Las Vegas, winning an Academy Award along the way. At his peak, he was one of the highest-paid actors in Hollywood, earning over $150 million. But Cage's spending habits were legendary. Purchased multiple castles in Europe, rare exotic animals, shrunken heads, and a private island in the Bahamas. He owned more than a dozen homes, including a haunted mansion in New Orleans. His investments and lavish lifestyle quickly drained his fortune. By 2009, Cage faced massive tax debts and was forced to sell many of his prized possessions. Despite continuing to act, his financial troubles remain one of the most well-known in Hollywood. Number 16. Toni Braxton. Toni Braxton's voice defined 1990s R&B. With hits like Unbreak My Heart, she sold millions of albums and won multiple Grammy Awards. At her peak, she was one of the best-selling female artists in the world. But behind the scenes, Braxton's finances were crumbling. In 1998, she filed for bankruptcy, citing poor record deals and high expenses. She bounced back with new albums and even a Las Vegas residency. Yet in 2010, she filed for bankruptcy again, this time after canceling shows due to health issues. Medical bills and mismanagement of her funds left her struggling despite her fame. Toni Braxton's story shows that even multi-million album sales do not guarantee lasting financial stability. Number 15. Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson was once the most feared boxer in the world. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, he dominated the heavyweight division and earned over $400 million in his career. He lived an extravagant life, buying mansions, cars, jewelry, and even pet tigers. But Tyson's personal troubles, legal issues, and reckless spending habits led to financial ruin. By 2003, he filed for bankruptcy, revealing that he was over $20 million in debt. Tyson's downfall was a shocking reminder that even the highest earnings in sports can vanish with poor money management. Today, he has rebuilt some of his wealth through acting roles and endorsements, but his financial collapse remains one of the most famous in sports history. Number 14. Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay Lohan rose to fame as a child actress in films like The Parent Trap and became a teen icon with hits like Mean Girls. She earned millions and seemed destined for a long Hollywood career. But legal troubles, rehab stints, and poor financial decisions began to take a toll. Reports surfaced that she owed hundreds of thousands in taxes and was struggling to pay rent. By 2012, she was reportedly borrowing money from friends to stay afloat. Though she has attempted comebacks, Lohan's early wealth and fame were largely lost due to personal struggles and mismanagement. Number 13. Burt Reynolds. Burt Reynolds was one of the biggest box office stars of the 1970s and 1980s. With hits like Smokey and the Bandit and Deliverance, he earned millions and lived a life of luxury. But Reynolds made poor investments, faced expensive divorces, and spent lavishly on real estate and collectibles. By the mid-1990s, he was deeply in debt and filed for bankruptcy. He sold many of his prized possessions, including his beloved ranch in Florida. Despite continuing to work in film and television, Reynolds never regained the financial peak of his early career. Number 12. Pamela Anderson. Pamela Anderson became a global icon in the 1990s thanks to her role in Baywatch and countless magazine covers. She earned millions from acting, modeling, and endorsements. Her image was everywhere, from posters to commercials. But Anderson's finances suffered due to a combination of expensive divorces, poor investments, and massive renovation costs on her Malibu home. In 2012, reports revealed she owed over $1 million in unpaid taxes. She was eventually forced to sell her Malibu property for a fraction of what she had invested in it. Anderson has continued to work in film, television, and activism. But her financial troubles show how quickly even the most bankable stars can face money woes. Number 11. Gary Coleman. Gary Coleman was the breakout star of the hit sitcom Different Strokes. At the height of his career, Coleman was one of the highest-paid child actors on television. But his parents and advisors reportedly mismanaged his earnings. In 1999, Coleman filed for bankruptcy, citing medical expenses from lifelong kidney problems and legal fees from numerous lawsuits. He took various odd jobs, including working as a security guard, before his death in 2010 at the age of 42. Coleman's story remains one of the saddest examples of a child star losing everything. Number 10. Kim Basinger. Oscar-winning actress, had it all. She starred in major films like Batman and LA Confidential and was one of Hollywood's highest-paid actresses. But in 1989, she made a bizarre financial decision. She purchased the small town of Bristolton, Georgia, for $20 million, with plans to turn it into a tourist attraction. The project failed, and she sold the town at a huge loss. Legal battles, including a costly lawsuit after backing out of a film role, left her in financial trouble. By the mid-1990s, Basinger filed for bankruptcy. A shocking turn for someone once considered one of Hollywood's most glamorous stars. Number 9. Aaron Carter. Aaron Carter rose to fame in the late 1990s as a teen pop star, selling millions of records and touring the world. He was the younger brother of Backstreet Boys member Nick Carter and seemed poised for a long career in music. But by his early 20s, Carter was facing financial problems, largely due to mismanagement of his earnings when he was a minor. In 2013, he filed for bankruptcy, revealing that he owed over $2 million in taxes. His career never fully recovered, and he faced ongoing personal struggles until his tragic death in 2022. Carter's story is a heartbreaking example of how fame at a young age can lead to financial disaster. Number 8. Courtney Love. The lead singer of Hole and widow of Nirvana frontman Kurt Cobain has inherited a fortune after Cobain's death in 1994. But over the years, Love's financial situation spiraled. She faced numerous lawsuits, battled substance abuse, and was accused of squandering millions from the Nirvana estate. At one point, she admitted to losing as much as $27 million through bad decisions and theft by people she trusted. Despite sporadic acting roles and music releases, Love's wealth was a shadow of what it once was. Her fall from financial grace has been nearly as public as her rock and roll career. Number 7. O.J. Simpson. O.J. Simpson was once a beloved NFL star and sports commentator, earning millions from football, endorsements, and acting. His clean-cut image made him one of the most marketable athletes in America. But after the infamous 1994 murder trial, his career collapsed. Legal fees drained his finances, and in 1997 he was found liable for wrongful death in a civil trial, owing the victims' families $33 million. Simpson later served prison time for armed robbery and kidnapping. Number 6. Janice Dickinson. Janice Dickinson was one of the original supermodels, earning huge sums in the 1970s and 1980s. She later reinvented herself as a television personality and author. But Dickinson's spending habits, along with mounting medical bills, led to financial collapse. In 2013, she filed for bankruptcy, revealing she owed nearly $1 million in taxes and credit card debt. She admitted publicly that she had lived beyond her means for years. Her story is a reminder that even fashion icons can face financial ruin if they fail to manage their wealth. Number 5. Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes was a major box office draw in the 1990s with hits like Blade and White Men Can't Jump. At his peak, he earned millions per film. But Snipes ran into serious trouble with the IRS, accused of failing to pay millions in taxes over several years. In 2008, he was convicted on tax charges and sentenced to 3 years in federal prison. His financial situation deteriorated as legal battles and tax debts piled up. While Snipes has since returned to acting, his fortune never fully recovered from the massive losses and time behind bars. Number 4. T-Boz. She was part of TLC. It's one of the best-selling girl groups of all time, with hits like Waterfalls and No Scrubs. Despite selling over 65 million records, TLC filed for bankruptcy in 1995, citing poor record contracts and massive touring expenses. T-Boz also faced personal medical struggles, including a long battle with sickle cell anemia, which added to her financial strain. In 2011, she filed for bankruptcy again, revealing she owed hundreds of thousands in debt. Her story shows how even chart-topping artists can be left with little to show for their success. Number 3. Lauryn Hill. Lauryn Hill was a musical genius, winning 5 Grammy Awards for her debut solo album, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. The album sold millions and made her one of the most respected artists of her generation. But Hill stepped away from the spotlight and later faced serious tax troubles. In 2013, she served 3 months in prison for failing to pay nearly $2 million in taxes. Her career has remained sporadic since, and her financial situation was greatly diminished from her peak. Hill's fall was as surprising as her meteoric rise. Number 2. Willie Aames. Willie Aames was a familiar face on television in the 1970s and 1980s. Starring in 8 is Enough and Charles in Charge, he earned a comfortable living and enjoyed fame for years. But after his acting career slowed, Aames faced financial hardship. He lost his home, went through divorce, and ended up working on cruise ships to make ends meet. His story became an inspiring one, however, as he eventually rebuilt his life and returned to acting and directing. Still, his journey from TV star to bankruptcy and back is one of the most dramatic in Hollywood. Number 1. Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp is one of the most famous actors in the world. Known for roles in Pirates of the Caribbean, Edward Scissorhands, and many others. He has earned hundreds of millions of dollars over his career, but Depp's extravagant lifestyle, which reportedly cost over $2 million a month, combined with costly legal battles, drained much of his fortune. He has faced lawsuits from former managers over alleged financial mismanagement. While Depp remains a major star and continues to work, his story is a modern example of how even the biggest names in Hollywood are not immune to financial trouble. These stories are more than just tales of lost fortunes. They're reminders that fame and money can be as fragile as glass. Some celebrities have managed to rebuild their lives, finding stability and new opportunities. Others have never regained the financial security they once enjoyed. Let us know in the comments which story shocked you the most. And don't forget to subscribe for more unbelievable celebrity stories.